It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
ShipShape, Florida's only boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by Freedom Marine, where we take a bite out of the high-priced boat dealers, and by the paint professionals at Cape Marina, located in Port Canaveral, and by Florida Watercraft, now with 2 locations to serve you, and by the friendly folks at Boathouse Discount Marine. If you need it, we probably have it.
Thanks again for tuning in to another edition of ShipShape, the Boat Improvement Show. I'm John Greviskis, and this is my partner, Burt.
Howdy, folks.
I'd like to thank the people out here at Seminole Boat Yard for letting us use this great facility for today's show. We're located in Palm Beach Gardens. Now, Burt, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, John, we're going to be talking about our 1978 Stamos. It has a 351 Ford engine in it. It was put in 1988. It also has the original OMC 800 Outdrive on it.
Now, one of the reasons we chose this boat as one of our projects is the way in which the boat's constructed. Now, in some areas, there are up to 20 layers of fiberglass. Now, what does that mean to the average Joe? Come on over here and I'll show you. This boat flipped on I-95 going 50 miles an hour and slid down the road. As you can see, the damage on this boat is minimal. Now, Burt, what would you say asphalt's like? #1 grit sandpaper?
Yeah, I'd say that, John. And remember, folks, if there's a project that you'd like to see covered here at ShipShape, drop us a line or send us a fax.
Write your project suggestions to ShipShape, the TV show. Attention Project Director, Post Office Box 31561, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33420. Or fax us at area code 407-626-4348.
And if we use your suggestion on the show, we're going to go ahead and send out one of our ShipShape t-shirts. Right now we need to hear a word from the folks that make this show possible, but you'll want to stick around because in just a second we're going to show you some of the other repairs and modifications we're going to be doing to our Stamos.
Don't pull up anchor. ShipShape's coming right back.
The ultimate 3-in-1 boat hook from SureHold. Engineered to serve multiple purposes, this versatile 3-in-1 tool can be used as a traditional boat hook for docking and securing your vessel, for carrying a dock line to a pillar or cleat, for safely pushing off a dock space, and more. Compatible with all SureHold handles using the SureLock system, the SureHold boat hook is an essential tool for any successful boating adventure. SureHold. Clean and simple.
Welcome back to today's show. I'd like to show you the Outdrive that Burt was talking about earlier. Now, this baby is ancient. It's original equipment. It's a 1978 OMC 800 Outdrive, and I think I want to replace it. Reason being is there's some real limitations. We can only run this Outdrive in the down position. Now, we could keep it on, it's working and all that, but I think we're going to go ahead and change it out. Burt, what are your thoughts?
Well, John, actually there's several different options that we can go with. Yamaha has bought out OMC's division of the Outdrive, so we can see what they've done to update this Outdrive. Volvo Penta has an Outdrive with a dual prop system. We can take a look at that. Also, Mercruiser makes a very nice Outdrive. It has the trim and tilt, so you can get optimum performance out of your boat.
Well, that's a nice feature. If we go with the Mercruiser, we're probably going to have to close in our transom somewhat.
Yeah, we'll have to add material back here because the to accommodate the Mercruiser Outdrive, it will be a smaller diameter hole.
We're also going to have to look at the bell housings and make sure that they match up.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get a bell housing to match up our port engine.
Come on over here, I want to show you some of the other damage that happened due to the accident. In particular, our rub rail, we lost it. Now, what we're going to need to do to get into some of this fiberglass repair is remove the remainder of the rub rail. Now, it's attached by pop rivets, so what we're going to need to do is drill it out. We also have some damage to the rub rail up top on the hardtop.
Our bow rail received some of the blows, so we're going to be replacing this also.
Now, over the next several weeks, we're going to be doing quite a wide variety of projects around this boat, ranging from plumbing to mechanics to electrical to electronics. We're also going to take a look at some of the products that are out on the market to make these tasks a little easier.
Today we're going to be showing you some fiberglass procedures that we're going to be using to build up the area that got damaged in the accident. But the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove our rub rail. And what we've got here is just aluminum pop rivets in through our aluminum rub rail. And you just drill the head of the rivet off, get it to pop off here, where you can pull your rub rail off. And then you can punch the rivet through and you can pick it up in the bilge. You can also use a drill stop if you're afraid that your drill may pass on through and maybe hit some gunnel wires or something in there. And that's a smart idea sometimes to have drill stop on your drill bit. In this case, it's just an open area back there, so we don't really have to worry about that. Okay, we've got this section of the rub rail off. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it right here because I'm just going to be working in this area here, and I don't really need to pull it off all the way around just yet.
You know, when your car gets in an accident, it goes to the body shop where they'll use metal to rebuild the structure, and they'll use a product called Bondo to kind of take out any imperfections. We're going to do something real similar with our boat. What we're going to use to build up our structure is fiberglass mat and resin, and that's going to kind of take this back into shape. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put a product on top of that called Evercoat white marine filler. Now, this is kind of like a Bondo that we're going to be using on our boat. However, with this product, it's completely watertight.
Now, you could apply gel coat to the area that you've just built up, but in our case, there's so many different colors to try to match the gel coat, I think that we're just going to go ahead and paint the boat.
Well, this looks like a great time to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll get right into the repair.
Don't sail away. ShipShape will be right back.
The SureHold One Bucket System is your storage and detailing solution, featuring an ergonomic corrosion-free rope handle, a bucket caddy to organize your supplies and lift them out with ease, a bucket grate to elevate your wash tools out of dirty water with integrated soap measuring cups, a bucket base that won't let your bucket scratch, tip, or slip, and a bucket lid that keeps tools secure and doubles as a comfortable seat. The SureHold One Bucket System, the world's best rope handle 5-gallon bucket. SureHold, clean and simple.
Welcome back. This is the affected area that we're going to be working on. What we want to do is we want to grind out any impurities that were ground into the fiberglass, because the asphalt has petroleum in it. And if you were to do a layup over that, that would act like a releasing agent and actually release your layup that you just did, and you definitely don't want that. So you want to grind all that out. What I'm using is just a high-speed sander with some 40 grit disc. And you also want to use a good quality dust mask and eye protection, because you don't want to breathe any of this in and you don't want to get anything in your eye. You don't have to take a lot of material off. You just want to get it down where it's nice and smooth and make sure that you got all the impurities out. So you just periodically stop, check, take a look at it, take it down a little more. Because you really don't want to take off any more than you have to. It's easier just to take a little off at a time than try to put it back on.
Now, some people will use an acetone to clean the affected area. We advise against this. Reason being is there are waxes in your gel coat, and you don't want to be pulling those waxes into your area that you're going to be repairing. What will happen if that wax is left behind is you're not going to get a good bonding surface for your new layup.
Now that our area is cleaned of all impurities, let's go ahead and apply some resin here. We'll lay up a strip of biaxial on it, wet it out. As soon as it kicks off, which is going to kick off rather quickly today because it's awfully hot out here. And if you're working in a really hot day, you might want to retard your catalyst a little bit, give yourself a little more working time, because this polyester resin kicks off really quick. Go ahead and just wet it in real good. Get it, and we'll get it ground back. Let's go ahead and apply some back here on the back side. You really don't have to, you don't want to over resin your cloth. You want to get enough just to wet it out and then just work out the excess. This makes your area good and strong. Go ahead and lay this piece up in here. An area that we have stuck that sticks up above the gunnel, we're just going to grind that back. That'll be an area that we kind of just roll right into the top of the gunnel. When we get it finished, it'll look really, really well. Actually, if you're sitting back here and look at it now, you're like, man, you'd be able to make this look, you actually won't even be able to tell there was any damage here at all when we get done with it. Like I say, our glass ought to set up really quick in the sun today. Yeah, that's looking good. And again, you don't want to put on too much resin though. That's one thing you really want to watch against. Just kind of work in what you got on the brush. That way you don't have resin streaking down the side of the boat. Makes for a really messy cleanup then. Just enough to wet out the cloth. Yeah, looks good.
Well, while we're waiting for our resin to kick, I'm going to go ahead and pull off some of the hardware off the boat to help us in the painting process, make it a lot easier. Basically, what I'm going to be using to label this stuff is just a good quality masking tape, such as the 3M brand. Mark everything down, and that way it's just going to really make for ease of reinstalling the hardware. Now, Steve, if you can kind of pull up here to this nameplate, if you notice, there's some pitting going on as well as some white powder material on that. Now, whenever you see that on metal, you know that it's pot metal. And basically, this cannot be re-chromed. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to contact Stamos itself and see if they have any nameplates. You know, if you're doing this on your project boat, you might want to contact your manufacturer to see if you can get some as well.
Just before your glass completely cures, you can take a knife and trim the edges back. This will minimize your sanding when the thing is fully cured. And this just helps, you know, keeps the dust down, definitely keeps the itch factor down. Well, our glass is cured enough for me to go ahead and knock this down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and sand this off, rough up the face of this again, and then I'm going to add some 1.5 ounce mat, about 3 layers, and then we'll do the same process again.
Now that the surface is prepared, we can go ahead and add a few layers of mat.
That's correct, John. What we're going to do is add a couple layers of mat here, build the surface out, and we'll grind it off, and then we'll apply our Evercoat to it, and then we'll feather that out.
Now, when you're doing the mat, Burt, I see that you're using the small brush, but couldn't we use that metal roller for fiberglass?
Yes, John, actually that would be easier to use the roller, but actually what I did is I didn't set it in my acetone, and it got all the resin kicked off on it. So actually I need to go down to Glue Products and pick up another one.
Well, there you go.
So I'm having to make do with this little brush, which I think it'll turn out okay.
Chapman's Corner is brought to you by Chapman School of Seamanship.
Today on Chapman's Corner, we want to show you the correct way to coil and throw a line to someone ashore. First, I want to make sure that I pass the line underneath the rail, very important. Then I'm going to attach one end to the cleat. Now, starting with the standing part, I'm going to make nice, large coils. And as I do that, notice how I twist the line so that I get a nice, even circle in my left hand. Okay, now once I've got that done, all I need to do is split it a little bit. And now I'm going to throw it to someone ashore. John's standing there, and the positions he's in is his hands out. That gives me a nice object to hit. Instead of him trying to reach for the line, I've got a whole set of arms to go for. Here we go. You ready, John?
Sure am.
Overhand, bam. Can't miss it that way. This way now John can pull it in, and I can direct him on what pile to put it to. From Chapman School of Seamanship, this is Tom Dante.
Today on What's On in the Water, we're going to take a look at the 33-foot Viper. And with me today is Joe Pender, the owner of Viper Boats. Joe, thanks so much for taking some time out to be on the show. Now, this is a real unique boat. Joe, actually, you build these boats right here in West Palm. Can you tell us a little bit about the 33-foot Viper?
Well, it's a 33-foot deep V offshore boat. It's a 24-degree V hull.
Okay.
It's a rough water, ocean, high-speed boat. Most people just don't pick the weather. They come and go as they want with this boat.
I've got you.
And some of the amenities, obviously, are the cuddy cabin on this model with a head down below.
Well, let's talk about that. You know, it's so important. You know, I know a lot of guys want the boat to go out and fish. But it's important to get the wife and the kids out of the sun and out of the weather. You know, especially in the summertime, we're going to be getting some thunderstorms around here. We need to pop around those things and give the family, you know, some protection, some shelter.
That's correct.
I just think that's real important.
It's a basic cuddy cabin, cushions, lighting, marine head. It's very adequate for 4 or 5 people to get in and out of any weather or overnight. Slight accommodations. It works very well.
So this is a perfect boat to possibly look at going for a weekend to the Bahamas.
That's very correct.
Anything like that. The boat is obviously laid out to fish. Let's talk about the unique combing bolsters that you have on this boat.
Well, this boat obviously is a high-speed offshore boat, and when you're out in the water rough, you need combing bolsters for when you're fighting fish, obviously.
Exactly, exactly. Now, this is a real nice center console that you've put on this boat. Tell us about that.
It's a quite large center console, and it houses either, you know, obviously an open fish model ahead, or all the oil tanks, batteries, and everything else that accommodates inside.
I've got you. What kind of electronics would you recommend coming with this boat?
Basic GPS tracking system and a VHF, obviously for safety reasons.
Joe, tell me about those gauges.
This is the new OMC system check gauges, come with the motors for 96, all plug-in equipment, all the warning buzzers and horns on them. Very nice.
I've got you. Now, this is a really nice T-top. Now, do you guys custom make that as well?
Yes, we're semi-custom, and we build them to the customer's needs.
I've got you. I've got you. These appear to be some Rupp outriggers.
Those are Rupp Top Gun outriggers. They work very nice, very accommodating. You can control everything from down below in the cockpit.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, this is a real nice leaning post that you have here with a rocket launcher kind of built into this.
Yes.
You're talking about quite a bit of rod storage on this boat.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got rod storage down below in the cabin, obviously.
Okay.
And you can control 4 rods up top and 4 in the rocket launcher.
So you've got the safety of being able to lock up your rods and your equipment, which is real nice. Let's talk about some of the bait wells. How many baits can you fish on this boat?
This boat has a 40-gallon bait well built into the deck.
Okay.
And obviously has an option up in the floor of the cabin for another bait well, obviously.
Well, that's great. Let's talk about fuel capacity.
225 is standard to go up to 300, obviously.
Well, that's great. Now, you've got a couple of choices in power on this boat. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes, we build this with outboard or diesel inboard.
Okay.
Single or dual diesel.
Now, I know a lot of people are really thinking about that diesel economy.
There's no doubt. With a single diesel, we've been reaching speeds upwards of 40 miles an hour and getting 4 miles to the gallon with the diesels.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're giving people a choice.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Especially, again, going over to the Bahamas when you're talking about the price of fuel. You know, you're really giving people an option there. But on this particular boat, you've gone with the outboard power. Let's talk about these engines.
Well, these are the new Johnson 225s, and a lot of people like them to get for speed. This boat is upwards of 60 miles an hour, and it works very well offshore.
Now, this is a real custom engine bracket that you have in the boat.
Yes, we developed this bracket a couple years ago, and it's all composite bracket, no corrosion, no electrolysis. And we build it at the same time as the boat, so if we do different colors, it's the same color, obviously.
Joe, real quick price on this boat.
This boat, the way it sits, is about $68,000.
Well, Joe, thanks so much for taking
Appreciate
time
your
out
time
on the show.
Thank you.
Don't drift away. ShipShape will be right back.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's project. Tune in next time when Burt and I start doing some interior work on the Stamos.
And I'd like to thank our friends here at Seminole Boat Yard for all the help that they've done.
You tune in next week.
See ya.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. Ship shape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ship shape means trouble-free. Ship shape means being neater. Ship shape makes boat work easier. Ship shape is the way to go. The Ship Shape Boat Care Show.